Hello friends, it's Rene here, and today I am bringing you a little view on a new tarot deck that I have received today. It's a deck that I've had my eye on for quite some time, and I was really excited when it arrived. It's a different system from my normal tarot. Okay, so this is a Thoth deck. It's not my first Thoth deck that I have, but it's the first one that I've purchased. So I was gifted a deck a couple of years ago, and looked at the images and I thought, oh no, these images are weird, these images are strange, and I just sort of put it aside, and I've never actually picked it up again. And then, because at that stage I was a little naive with regards to the tarot, and I didn't know that there was a different system out there, and I just never really connected with the cards. So I saw these a couple of weeks ago. I saw somebody had used them, and I thought, wow. And I didn't realize that they were a Thoth deck, so I had to order myself a copy. And then I also have another deck on order, and I didn't realize it, but apparently it's also a Thoth deck. So clearly I'm on a bit of a Thoth thing at the moment. So I have to profess to not be an expert. I don't know everything about the Thoth system, but I am certainly excited to delve in and get to know them. So this is the Millennium Thoth, and just to show you the deck, this is the box, not the deck, but it really is absolutely exquisite. I have taken the packaging off just because I didn't want you to be bored having to watch me remove cling wrap from a deck. So I have removed, and I have opened, and I have had a quick look at the cards, and they are just beautiful. So I love the box. It's my first kind of box, not really, but that has the little lift off top, and you can see how easy and it is to get the lid off. It came with a little guidebook, and I must say, as much as it looks like a little guidebook, I was quite impressed with how much information actually was inside the little book, and then the cards themselves. So the cards were also cling wrapped. I did remove the cling wrap. I do have a little bit of damage that had come through on the cards. I don't know if it's visible there, but I'm not going to worry about it. I might use my corner rounder and just clean, neat and tidy the cards up, that little corner, because it was just like a little piece of cardboard that had chipped off, if I can call it that. So yes, I'm now going to flip the camera around because it's really difficult to show you these beauties from this angle. So I'm going to flip the camera around to aim at the desk, and then take you through the cards and show you what they're all about. So we'll see you on the other side of this. Right, so welcome. I have changed the camera, and let's have a look at this new deck that I have. Right, so let me just take off the lid. Let's leave it right over there so that we can see it. So as I said to you, it comes with quite an interesting little guidebook. It's not so little really. It is actually quite detailed. Not really color, but it's in quite a few different languages, and it gives you, as you can see, quite a bit of information for each of the cards. It does give you about the graphics, and it gives you the upright and the reversed meaning. So I was quite interested. It's quite an interesting little guidebook, and then the actual cards themselves. So let's take them out of the box. I'm leaving some behind. Right, so the box is empty. Just stick it out the way. So I was quite interested in the back of the cards. I thought they were absolutely stunning. They are completely reversible, so you can adjust, if you want to read reversals. Personally, I don't like to read reversals, but the option is there should we want to. So typical with our publisher, which is Lo Scarabeo, they always give you a cover card, which is stunning, really stunning, and it gives you a nice feel on how it, the cardstock and so forth, and it has got the back. And then we get straight into the cards. So I'm going to just put them down like that, and we're going to do a flip through. As I said earlier on in my introduction, I'm not all that familiar with this particular system. There are some similarities with your basic Rider-Waite, but there is different as well. So I'm not going to profess to be a Thoth expert, because I'm certainly not. I'm still about to delve in and learn the system. So we have the Fool, and I just love the imagery. There is just so much that is going on there. I'm not going to give you commentary on every single card. I just want to do the flip through. Just absolutely stunning. You can see the High Priestess is what was used on the box and so forth, and I mean, you can just see why, because she is absolutely gorgeous. Emperor. The Hierophant, loving the elephants in the back, loving the sacred geometry, the four-leaf clover. Actually, it's not a four-leaf clover in the background. I love how they are inside of the infinity symbol there. The snake around the egg. Chariot. That's the judgment, the justice card. The Hermit. You know, previously the Hermit always looked so sad, whereas he certainly doesn't look sad, does he? He certainly looks quite strong and powerful. Wheel of Fortune. So you can immediately see, if you're familiar with the Rider-Waite, you can see that there are some differences in the system. This is the Strength card, believe it or not. Lust. Hanged Man. Oh, he is just so phenomenal. So, in my minimal knowledge of the Thoth system, you know, the symbolism is very strong in this particular system. And my previous deck that I was gifted, Thoth deck that I was gifted, it's really, sorry, excuse me stopping here, but this is probably the best Tower card I have ever seen. I just love, love, love. I cannot actually say enough about this card. You know, the Tower card is one of the dreaded cards. Everybody goes, I don't want to see the Tower card. But, you know, this card, that all-seeing eye, the white dove, you know, all of those symbolisms that are coming through just so depict my interpretation and my understanding. So this has to be my all-time absolute favorite Tower card I have ever laid eyes on. Just love it, love it, love it. So what I was saying, back to my original story, the previous Thoth deck that I have, the imagery, it's quite, I'm going to call it old-fashioned, old school, and maybe that's why I didn't connect with it, maybe that's why I didn't resonate with it, but this deck is quite modern. The imagery, the symbolism, everything is, just love it, so modern and so amazing, and I think that's why I'm so drawn to it. Before I turn the next card, for those of you who are not familiar with the Thoth system, only the majors are really graphically depicted. The rest of the cards are what we typically call pip cards. So it is just the same kind of image with just the different quantities of cups or whatever it might be. So we're going to go into the cups, and it is just exquisite. You know, there's just so much movement and so much emotion in that card. I just really love it. So we do have some graphics, some symbolism that's come through. We've got the dolphins, we've got the lotus leaves, we've got the cup runneth over. I love all the symbols that we have coming through there, which obviously all has interpretation. So you can see now that the picture doesn't change all that much. There is some slight variations and changes, but you know, there seems to be the theme that just progresses and moves on from there. So onto the 4. I love it. So if you're not very familiar with the tarot, and if you normally like to use the imagery to tell the story, you know, you may fall a bit short with the Thoth system, because now you actually have to understand Seven of Cups and what it means. You're not going to get any prompts from the imagery. I do see some prompts in the imagery, but as a beginner, I don't think it's a good deck to get into. I love that one, the Nine of Cups. I don't know if it's the OCD in me that they're all so neat and tidy, but it really is, it's stunning. Okay, so we don't have, in the normal traditional Rider-Waite-Smith system, we have pages, knights, queens and kings, and this Thoth system is a bit different. We have princesses, we have prince, love it, love it, love it, love it. We have the queen, and then we have the knight. So the knight replaces the king in the traditional. Right, now we go on to our pentacles, and again, just love, love, love the colors. Just the symbolism, the snake eating its own tail, the sun and the moon. You know, we have all the 4 elements in the corners. It is just phenomenal. There is so much as the pictures are not really story-like or story-based, they truly are. And if you have that basic understanding and knowledge of tarot, you do see, you know, the Five of Pentacles is typically known as the poverty card. And I looked at this at first and thought, well, where's poverty here? But everything is bound tight by the chains. We're restrictions. It's restrictions and limitations. So I do get it. But again, if you're the kind of reader that relies on the imagery to prompt your interpretation, then the Thoth system is certainly not going to work very well for you. And there's so much here, you know, all the different astrological symbols, you know, each one has been placed, there's relevance, there's significance. So, you know, if you're the person, a type of person who likes to study symbolism, this is absolutely the deck for you. Again, just look at it everywhere. Ten of Pentacles, Kabbalah. Then we have our princess, and isn't she just gorgeous? We have our prince, who is also just gorgeous. We have our queen. I'm not going to say it, but you know it. And we have our Knight of Pentacles. Stunning. Right, and then we're on to our wands, and we have the Ace of Wands. We have the Two of Wands. 3, 4, so you can start seeing the pip aspects of it, eh? It's the Eight of Wands. This is where I started getting some damage. I don't know if you can see in the corner there. This card, the next one, I think there were 3 of them. Do it like that you could see. There's a bit of damage in the corners, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about that. As I said, I may use my corner rounder and just tidy it up a little bit and maybe even ink it in so that it doesn't look so obvious. But I'm not going to worry about that. Really, I'm not going to worry. 10 of Wands. Now, typically, 10 of Wands is quite a heavy card emotionally, but you don't get that here. You get the significance of the 10, but you're not getting the emotional heaviness, which I quite like. Because, you know, sometimes when you read the tarot, we can be quite influenced by the imagery, whereas on a deck like this, you're not having that kind of problem. We have our princess. Oh, she's gorgeous. Love, the big sun. We have our knight, or otherwise known as our prince. We have our queen. Gosh. And then we have our king, or our knight, on his unicorn horse. Right, and onto the dreaded swords. Everybody hates the swords. Everybody panics about the swords. Everybody goes, oh my gosh, the swords, the swords, the swords. Let's see what the swords have to show for us. Two of Swords, again, which is one of those cards where, you know, we have the swords crossing, we have the blindfolds, we have all of those kind of emotions that come to it, but we don't have that here, which is actually quite nice. So you're not restricted by the imagery. Three of Swords, again, heartbreak. You know, it's supposed to be feeling sad and sorry. You can see the heart in the background. Well, I can sort of see the heart in the background. Yes, the colors are dark and gloomy. We've got these two swords that are bending, and it looks almost like they're about to snap. But you don't look at this card and go, oh, the heart is broken. You know, you don't get that kind of emotion from it, which is actually quite nice. Okay. I must say, I really think I could get into fully understanding and working with the Thoth system. Dying to see the Ten of Swords, to see how it is depicted. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's lovely. So we've got the broken sword going through the heart. We've got all the others standing there. We've got all the measurement kind of symbols and religious symbols around the edge. Love, love, love that. So again, you know, when you look at that, you're not getting the emotion. There is emotion, certainly in our princess and in our prince. Ha ha, love her. Off with his head. I'm just going to hang on to his head. Love that. And then our last one is the king or the knight of swords. So that is our Thoth tarot system. I love these cards. I really, really, really do. I'm going to give them a good old shuffle. I'm going to do it off camera because I'm such a bad shuffler. So I'm going to give them a good shuffle, and then we will do a draw to see what the Thoth system wants me to know today. So let me give a shuffle and then I shall return. All right, so I have given the cards a really good shuffle. I attempted to rifle shuffle them a couple of times, and I like to think that they are now nicely mixed up. And I'm going to draw a card just to see what this deck wants us to know right now. Let's have a look. Right, so I'm going to do that, and I like to fan it out and stop there, and I'm grabbing that one at random. Let's see what we get. Oh, we get the moon. How absolutely fabulous. I'm going to check. So the moon is about our intuition. The moon is about connecting with our inner self. The moon is about knowing that life goes in cycles, that life goes in stages, that, you know, that everything, the wheel turns, life cycles of life, things not always being as they seem, being mindful, using your intuition. But I want to see if this particular book has a different interpretation. So excuse me looking, and here it is. Okay, so the upright meaning, it says, embrace the dark corners of your psyche. Dreams are reflections of worries and fears given to the madness of the lunar energies. And I think that's exactly what it's telling me. It's telling me to give into the madness of this system and to just really learn it. Okay, so the description of the card, it talks about the two Anubis figures that stand guard under the waning moon. And just in case you can't see them, there they are over there, the two Anubis figures. The one on the left holds the symbol for Mercury, and the one on the right holds the symbol for the planet Pluto. Their companions are jackals. These creatures protect two dark towers rising tall into the air. Hanging just under the moon is the astrological symbol for Pisces, the ruling astrological sign for this card. 9 Hebrew Yod letters float in between the two towers, and a scarab emerges from the water holding a sphere of light. Anubis represents the god of the dead, heralding darkness. Jackals are tricksters' figures, and the scarab reminds us that while the darkness of the moon distorts, the light of the sun always returns. I absolutely adore that. So it's basically saying to me that even if I may be a little bit confused by the system, I mustn't be all is good, all is okay. I need to trust and go with it and really get involved and learn from it what I can. Friends, I hope you've enjoyed this little unboxing and walkthrough, and I do hope that I have inspired you to like me, get onto the Thoth wagon and learn what we can about this tarot system. With love and blessings from me to you. Take care.